Wasn't going to do a video today, mainly because I didn't really think I had much to do a video here on, so it's going to be probably tech tip number 3. This truck came into me, for some service, and apparently it just had the brakes done, it had axle seals done on it, and a couple other things. I put tires on it, did an alignment, had to redo the front brakes. They were really rusty. They didn't clean anything up. The caliper pistons, the boots were ripped open on them pretty bad, so put calipers on it. But when I looked at the rear end, I noticed, now this has been sitting, right now it's Monday before lunch, and this puddle, I'll put my foot here so you can kind of see how big it is. That's a pretty big puddle. Probably 1.5 feet or so across there. That's dripping out of the rear differential, and I noticed it when it was over on the alignment rack over there. I noticed that it had a leak as I was checking it out, so I knew I needed to take the cover off and reseal it, and I'll show you why in a minute here. But this morning I took it apart and was going to do that. Well, another thing I noticed too, back up a little bit here. When I took the brakes apart to look at it, I noticed that, you probably can't see this, try here, there's gear lube running out here. And this just had the seals done. Now the seal, this area right here, was beat in with a hammer. In fact, as I rub my finger around it, it feels wavy, and I don't think you're going to be able to see it. But you, especially right here by the sensor, there's a pretty good wave right there. The ABS sensor here is all wet with gear lube. So we were going to change this seal, reseal the cover, and get them back to golden. The brakes have a little bit of gear lube on it. I didn't think it was that bad yet. I was going to clean it up, but for some reason, they didn't do this side. This is still original brakes, and the front one here is thin. So they did brakes on one side. I don't know. I guess maybe the seal was leaking bad enough that it wrecked the brakes. Why you would just do one side. Right here at the bottom, the shoe, these are bonded. They're not riveted. And here at the bottom, the shoe is starting to separate. This front one here, and I know it's really dark, but the front one there is really thin. So it needs to have the brakes put on it. Reseal this, which it doesn't look like there was a really great job of cleaning the gasket surface there. This is supposed to have a permanent gasket. It takes synthetic gear lube. So anyway, it had a one-wheel brake job. So then I took the cover off, and here's what I noticed. Number one, this has got RTV, whether it be gear lube, silicone, it's already kind of ripping right there. But it's got gear lube RTV on it. Should have this gasket, and the cover is extremely rusty. It should not have been put back on. It's just peeling off of there in big chunks, and see that there. So anyway, that shouldn't have been reused to begin with, but then I found this stuck to the magnet. It's chewed up a little bit. Thankfully it didn't go fully through the gears, but it does have some, it's not usable. It's got to be replaced. And also this pin, if you can see that or not, try to get some better lighting here. Pin's kind of chewed up on both ends. Why you would put that back in, not really sure. This washer goes on the back side of these side gears right here. This is the one that it's missing. This one, it's on there still. That one's in okay shape, but in order to get that washer from GM, I have to buy these 2 gears, these 2 washers, and then also these 2 gears in here, the side gears, one here and one here. So It's going to cost the customer a couple $100 for the mistake with just the gears alone. Got to put the seal back in it. The gear lube is, I believe, around $15 a quart. I don't know if you can see that. It's AC Delco synthetic axle lube. Here's the gasket. It's a permanent style rubber reinforced, or excuse me, metal reinforced rubber gasket that goes on there. No glue or anything, just two clean mating surfaces with this gasket in between them, and the cover torqued to spec. Okay, this is the new seal. Hard to see because of the window. You can see that spring that's in the back side here. One thing you want to do before you put any seal in, especially if it has this spring, or I should say only if it has a spring, is you want to pack this back side with grease. That'll help hold that seal in place when you pound it in. And also, you're going to want to use a seal driver, one that's bigger than the seal, so it covers the whole seal. Now, sometimes there's a shaft sticking out on the center, like a pinion seal or a transmission tail shaft seal. Then there's seal drivers like this one that are made for this seal doesn't fit on it, but the seal would go on there, and then the hole up to center allows the shaft to pass through, and you can pound it in. Now, I've had to make them out of wood for stuff that I just didn't have the right size. Whatever you got to do, just don't pound it in with a hammer. You go to these discount economy places, I'm going to give you a little secret here. The best mechanics don't work there. So anyway, that's the tech tip, is watch where you take your car. The discount shops have the discount mechanics. So, and I'm not telling you to go to dealership. There's lots of independent shops. I was an independent that do a great job. But they seldomly have discount or budget or anything like that in the name of the shop. So anyway, have a great day. I hope this was helpful to you a little bit. We'll see you next time.